It's Talk Funny, a podcast by Mark Bailey and other comics from all over. We came to Japan because the Emmy Award-winning governor of New York killed our parents by sending COVID patients into nursing homes, then made a pass on our sisters. The Talk Funny podcast from NagoyaRadio.com and Nagoya Comedy. Here's Mark Bailey.
Mark Bailey and Talk Funny back here with Steve Howard.
Hello.
Steve, you were mentioning something about comedy with presidents.
Oh yeah, well, so I've been doing comedy long enough now that there've been 3 presidents in the White House since I started, and I'm assuming you probably started when Reagan was president. So I'm just wanted to talk about doing political humor when we get new presidents.
Right. So of the 3 presidents that were in office while you were doing comedy, did any of them stand out to you? Or
well, there was one president that the jokes just wrote themselves.
That's what we said at the time, is that there was a point where when I went to New York, everybody was doing Trump jokes. Yeah. Everybody. And it just got to be overkill. And I said, you can read the New York Times and read what he said, and it's funny enough. Right. You don't have to change it. You don't have to say, what did he mean by that? You know what he meant by that. Well, I remember with Reagan, a lot of comics, they would imitate him, right? Yeah. And they do the imitation and stuff. And Bob Goldthwait, he was one of my favorites. He would take issue with Nancy Reagan's just say no policy. And he said, why didn't I think of that when I'm sprawled out on the floor on heroin, contemplating giving oral sex to men for one more hit? I never thought of no.
Just say no.
Seems to me that they like to imitate the Republican presidents, or maybe they're easier to do.
Yeah.
George Bush Sr., of course. I think with George W. Bush, I think that became the first president that you didn't really have to tweak what he said. Yeah. You just actually say, we got to put food on our families. You know what I mean. No, I really don't. I remember, but people were not that irreverent.
Yeah.
They weren't like, Kathy Griffin, right, cutting off the president's head and threatening the son.
Yeah.
From what I remember, except for Nancy Reagan, you did not touch the families.
Yeah.
You didn't talk about the families. Mm-hmm. And when Obama came in, it was kind of appropriation if a white guy tried to imitate Obama,
Yeah.
So we just kind of set that one out. 8 years. And now you can kind of make jokes about Obama because you can contrast with, how cool he acted compared to some of the other things. Like Biden doesn't know where he is.
Yeah.
I think you just go back and find all the Gerald Ford jokes and polish them off, and I think Biden jokes will work. Right. I think it'll work for Biden. People would say, I can't believe, with Trump, they say, I can't believe he said that. Have you read yesterday's newspaper? I can't believe he said that. I'm looking forward to what he says tomorrow. Right. I can't wait. These jokes write themselves. And all you got to do is just say, he said this. And people are like, no, he did? Yeah, you didn't read this morning's paper? No, I didn't. Please don't tell me what he said.
It's like that tweet doesn't even need a premise or a setup.
I had a lady that we know, she's been on our show. She said, if I didn't know any better, I would think that he doesn't even care what he says. Yeah, that's a very likely possibility. And what part of that did you not get before? He doesn't care. It sometimes seems that he doesn't care what his critics think. You think? Yeah. For the East Coast, kind of the anti-political movement, the anti-political correctness stuff, it was refreshing. I think the closest we've ever had to a personality like Trump in the White House is LBJ. Because he apparently, he would use profanity. He would make his aides watch him while he took a dump.
Yeah.
They'd all have to, reporters would have to stand there. They wanted to talk to him. He would take a dump while talking to reporters, in person. And one time he said, I don't give them hell. I just tell them the truth and they think it's hell. He was the closest to don't give a damn. Damn the torpedoes kind of thing.
Unfortunately, the best story I ever heard of him, I can't say on our podcast, but Hunter S. Thompson wrote a story about it. But it was...
Well, he liked the N-word, is what I heard.
Yeah.
He had a tape of him one time. It was hilarious, with him talking to Nixon. And as Nixon was coming in, and he was leaving, and it's just completely politically incorrect. He would say, what about that N-word? What's his name? And then where's the Oriental one? What's the Oriental? What's her name?
Oh, God.
Well, didn't they have the guy with the retarded son? I'm like, you couldn't even. It'd just be silence if you. This
One
has
long
been
beep.
This has been edited for 2021 post Me Too era. It's just silence. Click. Oh, that's where they hung up. Okay. And
I thought that guy was supposed to be the silent generation. Yeah, he is.
A lot of people got discredited from that because Al Gore's father was a blatant racist.
Yeah.
I think it kind of turned, though, because you have this revolving door now. You have a lot of reporters who've married. It happens a little bit on the Republican side, a little bit with like Karl Rove was in the Bush administration, then he goes on Fox. But you have on the other side, it's just a revolving door of a total swamp. Just, okay, perfect example. Cuomo is the governor of New York, and he's also, his brother is a leader at CNN. So how objective is he going to be, really? And then you have, I can't even name them all, but the ones that are married have one spouse is in the White House or former Obama administration, and the other one's at a network. So they don't talk at night, I guess. No, they don't. So I wonder how these things leak.
I liked, he never got elected, but Norm Macdonald did Dole when Dole was running for president. That was one of the best imitations I remember.
Yeah, they were getting ready to dust off Gerald Ford for Dole. But now that would be politically incorrect because he was injured. He was disabled, right? From the war. I like heroes that don't get shot. I'll just put it that way. I'm just kidding. It's a callback. All right, it's Mark Bailey with Steve Howard on Talk Funny.